Hey now, hey everybody, Dr. Dan Stepanowski here. Hope you are well, got the whole team. Appreciate you checking in and spending a little bit of time with us. We're gonna try and keep to 30 minutes. We took a little bit of break at the beginning of the school year to give everyone kind of a break to settle in. So now that things are starting to move a little bit again, we're gonna try and do these every 3 weeks. We do one for our staff last week. We'll do one for the community and staff today. We'll take next week off, and then we'll be back into the rotation. So you'll see us again in 3 weeks unless there's breaking news, and there can always be breaking news. And please remember, one of my mottos is things will change, I promise you. The part you don't want to change will be the part that changes. Got my team here, Assistant Superintendent for Ed Services, Dr. Clara Finneran. Assistant Superintendent of Finances, our Chief Financial Officer, Karen Kimmel. Assistant Superintendent of Personnel, Steve Seifries. Chief Technology, Jim Klein. Director of Classified, Robbie Amadio. Director of Pupil Services, Miss Angie Falk. And Director of Curriculum, Instruction, Calabasas Football, and Leadership, Mr. Ryan Gleason. He's not the director of Calabasas football. Please don't send me the emails. It's a joke. It's just a joke. He cares deeply about all of our student athletes, but he's not our director of football.
I'm actually wearing my Calabasas football shirt.
We appreciate that. So a reminder for our parents, by the way, Karen's daughter graduated from Las Virgen Schools. Robbie's sons graduated. Steve Seifries has children in our elementary schools. I have 2 children in our high schools, and Clara has 3 children in our schools right now, elementary, middle, and high school, I believe.
Angie's daughters graduated from Las Virgen.
Angie's daughter is a graduate from, I believe, Calabasas, right? And Mr. Ryan Gleason has children in Conejo nearby. So we are all living what you are as well. And so we definitely appreciate these challenging times with our own children in our own homes. We are all in this together, to be candid about it. We share your frustrations, we share your stresses, anxieties, and triumphs and celebrations, and there are those. So let's share some slides here. All right, team, am I presenting?
Yep.
All right. Am I presenting the right thing? Looks like we are. Okay, so first off, so much appreciation for all of you during these challenging times. None of us had expected it would go on this long, and here we are. So we're going to continue fighting and working hard. Our sleeves remain rolled up, and we are all in on making the absolute best of these challenging times. So appreciate your patience, so appreciate your kindness. Those really matter. Those really matter in these trying times. So much appreciation for the staff. They've worked so hard on this distance learning, working hard to get our kids back on campus. Making the absolute best of this. The beautiful picture on the right-hand side there. We're all in this for the kids. And so appreciation. If you get chances, also share those small gestures of kindness with our staff, with each other, with your neighbors, with people in and out of the school district. It just matters. I just think kindness is such a simple, easy, small, but powerful gesture, and appreciate every chance you have for that. So along with appreciation and kindness, safety, we remain focused on the safety of our staff and our students and our community. These are challenging times. We'll share some of the metrics in a few minutes. Numbers are going in a good direction. We're excited about that. We're happy about that. We hope that continues. But really, it is about safety. We've spent about 1.6 million or so in preparations. We've been working to reopen our schools safely since March 13th. All summer long, we were here, and we continue this year. There are a number of districts that have begun reopening, and we're talking to them all the time. Ms. Kimmel and I are talking to Irvine, Tustin, Fullerton, Moore Park, Simi, Conejo. So we are stealing every good idea we have. And by the way, this team is so awesome. They have a whole bunch of good ideas that others steal from us. How can you help us? Wear your mask, follow the safety guidelines, maintain distance, avoid gatherings, wash those hands frequently. And number 5 is huge. And that is stay home if you're not feeling well. And that's for our staff and for our students. once we begin reopening schools, and we're going to start to have kids on campus Monday, which we're really excited about. If those kids aren't feeling well, you've got to keep them home. That's a non-negotiable. If we end up in a situation where parents, and I know the pressures, parents have jobs and they have commitments and they have responsibilities. I get it. But we have to take care of each other. We have to take care of each other's children's safety. We have to take care of the staff's safety. If kids aren't feeling well, or they're any of the symptoms, they're meeting any of the symptoms, the fevers, the chills, the headaches, those sorts of things. It could just be a cold. It could just be a sniffle. It could be the common flu. They have to stay home. If we have parents who send children to campus who are symptomatic or who have coronavirus, we very likely will have to send that child to the virtual academy and not have them coming back on campus. We need to all be in this together, looking out for your children and looking out for all the children in those classrooms, in those cohorts. I don't know how to say it any more directly than that. That's so critical for the other students' safety and our staff safety. And we're very serious about that. And finally, those flu shots matter. The doctors recommend getting those flu shots by October 31st. Flu season is starting right around now. So please go and get those. Typically 50% or so of Americans get flu shots. We need to take the common flu off the table. The good news, right? The Southern Hemisphere, New Zealand, Australia, their winter is our summer. And the medical professionals watch their flu season to help determine which flu shot to administer to us. So the good news there is we've been watching the Southern Hemisphere throughout our summer. And their flu season was very mild, the most mild they've had in 50 years. So that is phenomenal news. That will help us with coronavirus, help us significantly. Of course, the medical professionals believe it was such a mild flu season in the Southern Hemisphere because of all the distancing, because of items 1 through 5 above. And so we can do 1 through 5 above as well and have a mild flu season, which would greatly improve our health situation going into the fall. Safety, safety, safety. Again, I can't say that enough. You've all probably seen the metrics. The state, launched a new 4-tier system on September 1st. LA County remains in tier 1, which is purple or widespread. But the metrics are improving. Once LA County, as metrics push it to the red, which would be tier 2, we have to stay there for 14 or so days. Next couple slides I'm going to show you come from that website right there, covid19.ca.gov. For me, the absolute best website is that second source there, covid19.ca.gov, Safer Economy. So those are the two resources that we're pulling much of our information from, and we watch on a daily basis. So here's the 4-tier system. Again, the state put this out on September 1st. Many of you probably seen it. As I said, LA County is in tier 1 or purple or widespread. We're shooting to get into the red or the substantial. And there used to be 6 health metrics that the state looked at. We're down to 2 really, and that is cases per 100,000 on a daily, and then positivity rate or percent positive. I have always watched the positivity. I think that's the most instructive health metric there is. It really tells us where we're going. So we need cases at or below 7 and a positivity at or below 8%, and we can push into those other tiers. Here's snapshots from today. So this is the most recent information. All of California on the left, they're at 7 cases per 100,000 with a 3.4% positivity. Sorry, this data is from September 23rd. I pulled them from the website today, but the data was posted September 29th. Left-hand side is the state of California. Right-hand side is LA County. LA County is at 7.3 cases per 100,000 and 2.9% positivity. On the left-hand side, you can see which counties, I believe there are 53, 58 or so counties in California. And you can see that the state, which is a very significant positive, is moving out of the purple into the reds and oranges across the state. So California is definitely trending positively, trending well. Okay, so I track the positivity rate for all of us. And now there are 5 data points starting September 1st. If you remember in the summer, really in July, we're close to 10% positivity. So tremendous progress here. Those steps 1 through 5 really do matter. follow those safety metrics and these numbers come down. So September 1st, we're at 5.5, we pushed down to 4, 3, 2, and we're hovering at 2.9, 2.8 right now from September 29th. So that's a positive. Ventura County, a little bit above us actually. And they've moved from 5.6 down to 3.6% positivity. And then California as a whole, LA County is a little better than all of California, which is, again, phenomenal information. So from the metrics to move into the red, we have met the positivity rate, right? I think I said it's at or below 8%, so we are well below 8%. So we're there on this category, but we need to be there on both categories. And the second category is case rate. This is cases, daily cases per 100,000. And we're not quite there yet, unfortunately. We've come down significantly. So we were at 11 cases per 100,000 back on September 1st, down to the 9, 8s, 7s, and we popped up a little bit. The good news is we were worried about a Labor Day bump. I think we have received or experienced a little bit of a bump, but nothing like we had seen from Memorial Day and July 4th. So that's excellent to see. Ventura County, they started well below us at 7.2, popped a little bit, and they remain right around 7. So that is their challenge as far as getting out of the widespread or tier 1. And overall, California, again, almost identical to LA County. So good information here. We just need to get below 7, at or below 7 to be able to push into that red or tier 2, and then need to be there for 14 days. Team, did I miss anything on these so far?
Nope.
All right, and so a new slide I put together. So I went and looked at our cities. There are about 88 cities in all of LA County. And I can tell you our 4 cities in Las Verdes rank among the lowest. Really, they're the bottom. I think 3 of our cities are basically at the bottom. And those are Agora, Hidden Hills, and Westlake Village. Those 3 cities are at the bottom of the 88 or least amount of cases per 100,000. I think the city of Avalon and San Marino are down there with us also. So 3 of our 4 cities are in the bottom 5 of all 88 in LA County. So the average cases per 100,000 based on the city for LA County overall is about almost 2,300 cases per 100,000. And this data is from today. Agora Hills down there at 785, Calabasas at 1,100, Hidden Hills at 423, and Westlake Village at 407. And I think the only 2, like I said, the only other 2 cities that are in this range are the city of Avalon and San Marino. So well below half to 1/5 to 1/6 of the average case average in LA City. So our region is doing very, very well. Thank you for everything you've done to make these numbers as good as they are. So this is excellent. We need to stay this course, and this will be part of the argument we will make with the county relative to reopening schools. Updates. So this is probably the hot topic on everyone's mind. Good news, exciting news, Ms. Falk, is we have 198 students with special needs that will be on campus, on our campuses on Monday. We are very excited about that. The state and the county are allowing students with special needs, certain categories of students with special needs, to be serviced on campus. Obviously, Zoom learning, distance learning is a challenge for everybody, none more so than, of course, our students with special needs. So we are so excited to have and welcome them back on campus on Monday. And all of our focus and energies right now are making sure that that is safe for our staff and our students and successful. So we are very excited about Monday. That's a big step forward for Las Verdes. And we look forward to welcoming students back onto our campuses for the first time since March 13th. Other counties, so Orange County and Ventura County are ahead of LA County, not much of a surprise. So the good news there is we can learn from them. Schools in, as I mentioned earlier, schools in Irvine, Tustin, Fullerton, Newport, Mesa school districts have been opening all month long. And we've been in constant contact with those superintendents and their staff and their CBOs and learning a lot from them. It seems to be going very well. Los Alamitos, I think, began September 8th. And they have not had a situation at all. They've been K-5 since September 8th. Schools in Ventura County are starting to open. Moore Park is looking to open towards the end of October. And I know Conejo and CME are working on their waiver to submit to their county as well. Again, we're right along the border. The vast majority of Las Verdes is in LA County. All of our schools are in LA County. We follow LA County guidance. So that is can be confusing for folks who may not know which county they're in or being so close. So Conejo and CME are contemplating a waiver. I don't know when they'll be contemplating opening, probably late October or early November is a best guess from me. Our waiver. So we were on the phone this morning with Dr. Farrar from our Director of Public Health for LA County, and she shared that on Monday, LA County would be accepting waivers for TK through second grade. And so we are working to submit that. They said they will be taking at least 2 weeks to review those waivers, and they'll only be accepting about 30 schools per week. So that's going to be a slow roll. And they're being cautious and prudent here, which we wish they moved a little faster, but I understand the need for caution with such a serious pandemic. They are giving priority to schools with higher numbers of free and reduced lunch program students involved there. But we're excited by this development. We appreciate that LA County is making this step and moving in this direction. So we'll be working hard to get our waiver in there. Team, anything else on this slide? So that's probably the latest news. That things will change. This slide, the information on this slide will change, could change within 6 or 12 hours. They may increase the number of schools they start accepting, or the health metrics may get worse and they may stop accepting waivers. It may take them 3 or 4 weeks to examine waivers, or may take them 3 or 4 days. But that's the information we had as of this morning. So that's probably from about 6 hours old information. We got that from Dr. Farrar at 9 a.m. This morning. We're excited and pleased by that development. Our preparation, so we'll share some of the things we've done and really remind you it's been a Herculean effort, and we're excited by all of the work. One of the things was testing. We have had 2 sessions of testing. We're the only district that I am aware of. I think LA Unified has done some limited testing, but beyond that, we're the only district that I'm aware of on the 20 in Ventura County and the 100 in LA County that has done on-site testing. Had about 100 of our staff do it. Picture of me on the right-hand side there getting the testing. We do the PRC testing, which is the nasal swab, and the antibody testing, which is a blood test. We're going to be continuing that every 3 weeks. We're going to be doing that for our staff. The location is A. Wright Middle School, which is right next to the district office, essentially the middle of the school district. And coupled with that, last time we did provide an on-campus flu clinic. We had about 50 of our staff take advantage of that. So please get those flu shots. And we'll have more information about potential flu clinics coming up. I know the city of Calabasas frequently has one, so please get those flu shots. And this is where I hand it off to Dr. Finneran and Ms. Kimmel.
Thank you, Dr. Stepanowski. I do want to share with the community that we have been hard at work since the middle of March to prepare our schools for reopening. And in the course of that time, we've purchased over 5,500 items to distribute to our different school sites, everything from basic PPE for every staff member, sanitizers, dividers for staff and students, thermometers, signage, cleaners, wipes, face shields, and masks. So huge undertaking. Our warehouse team has been amazing, and we have all these items out at the school sites. On the next slide, we can share, what is on an individual classroom, what you might see that every individual employee has access to. So we have spray bottles kept away from students, but available to all staff members who need to use the disinfectant or the microfiber cloths. They are just available continually throughout the day if needed. And there's definitely cloth-based coverings for every employee. 5 are allocated to each staff member. Acrylic desk dividers for all of our instructors. Hand sanitizer in every classroom at the entrance to every classroom, facial tissue, disposable gloves, a stylus pen so nobody has to touch shared equipment, and face shields for all of our instructors as well. On the next slide, we show a little bit more detail about a special ed classroom and how we have additional layers of support and safety in those classrooms for those highly sensitive students. So in those classrooms, all of our staff will have face shields with the drape. That's a Velcro bandana that can come off and be washed. And tucking that drape in, the staff will be able to remove their mask if they want to have their mouth seen for instruction and phonetic work with the students. All of our aides will have access to disposable gowns, portable desk dividers so they can work one-on-one as shown in the picture on the right with the students. And there will be medical grade disposable masks for the special ed classrooms and for the staff. And we'll have disposable masks for the students if something happens and their mask gets soiled. And also for the real little kiddos, for the kindergartners and preschoolers, we will have these little visor hats that have the shield as well as an added layer of support, because I know that some of those really young ones will have trouble keeping their mask on all the time, and that just provides additional layer of support for everybody.
Great, thank you, Ms. Kimmel. One of my favorite stories about those visors with the caps is that students sometimes think they're like an astronaut or a pilot wearing those. So just want to reassure everyone that we're going to make this return to school as positive and as fun and certainly as normal as possible, even though things will look a little bit different. This slide is just a picture of the different levels of protection. So on the left-hand side, you see Ms. Kimmel is actually our model here, wearing a mask and a shield with the drape. In the middle is a perfectly acceptable level of protection, which is the shield without the mask. And then also on the far right hand picture, these acrylic dividers are available across our schools. And while there's not one in every classroom, there is one available at every grade level. And so your students might see these rolling dividers. On the next slide, this is information about entering campus. And so what's important about entering campus is that you'll be receiving information on a daily basis about complying with our safety protocols. And if it's a small group of students coming onto campus, like our small groups of students who are being serviced starting next week, they would be individually temperature scanned. If it's a large group, they would be scanned with our infrared, it's actually called fever, spelled F-E-E-V-R, devices. And you probably will have a designated entry and exit location on campus when our groups begin to get bigger. And of course, your temperature needs to be below 100.4 as directed by the county. On the next slide is a picture of going into and or exiting a classroom. And so what we want to make sure is happening here is that students are maintaining distance. So what we've done is paint designated markers on spaces outside of classrooms so that students have an idea of what 6 feet apart is. And then they'll be using hand sanitizer and hand washing stations regularly as they enter and exit the classroom. The next couple of slides are what it looks like inside of a classroom right now. And so the first slide is tables. And so remember, we have a cohort system where some students will be coming in the morning and some will be coming in the afternoon. And in order to maintain that 6 feet of distance, what we've done is designated by color, typically blue and orange, although I think some school sites are a little bit different. But they'll be maintaining that 6 feet of distance by sitting in a designated location. And in between those cohorts, of course, the classroom will be sprayed and cleaned. On the next slide is a picture of a more traditional setup, which has desks. And so again, there would be that spacing maintained by marking the desks, and students would be sitting in a designated desk or location.
So in this picture, Dr. Finneran, so apparently we look at that picture and say, holy smokes, look at those desks, that's too many kids.
Right, great point, Dr. Stepanowski. So we would only have half be filled, or in some cases it would be less than half of those desks. And of course they would be cleaned between those cohorts. Ms. Kimmel, I think it's back to you.
Awesome. Some of our fun items are on this next slide. We have some specialty items for playtime for the elementary kiddos. We have recess kits for every cohort, every classroom. So when you go into your classroom, there should be a blue bag and a red bag, and those will be items that your individual cohort will only have access to. That way the play equipment is kept safe within your group. We also have many hula hoops that the teachers can use for distancing, whether it's on the playground or in the classroom for like time on the rug or something like that, to help the kids understand what appropriate spacing is. During this period of time, on the next slide, you can see some of the other equipment that we purchased, which is we purchased 213 portable tilting umbrellas that have been delivered to all the school sites. And this is going to give us flexibility in setting up our outdoor learning environments. So what we will be doing is moving many of the lunch tables out from under the shade structures that exist and setting up small outdoor learning environments so that you can have a group of 8 to 10 students possibly sitting outside and working in our wonderful Southern California weather. On the right, you can see some portable sinks that we purchased. When we did our thorough inventory early this summer, there were some classrooms in the elementary levels that were identified as not having a sink inside. So we rectified that and purchased additional portable sinks for all of those classrooms. And so every elementary student will have access to be able to wash their hands within their classroom environment. On the next slide, we've got some examples of the signage you might see when you come on campus. So it will be very clearly marked. Unfortunately, nobody except staff and students will be allowed on campus. We are required to do that for a safety precaution. So that will mean that when we do open up again, there will not be parent volunteers on campus, and parents will need to make appointments if they need to come into the office to do any business. So that way we can ensure additional safety. You can see Calabasas High School has the QR code that will help you as a visitor checking in. So these are the types of things you will see. On the next slide, a lot of folks have questions about how are you going to keep our campus clean? What are you going to do to make sure that it's safe for our students and our staff? So throughout the day, when we are back on campus, we will be having campus supervisors throughout the day with those handy dandy little squirt bottles and the microfiber cloths, and they will be cleaning doorknobs and high touch areas such as handles throughout the campus all day long. So that's just one area of importance. Then prior to the midday break, the campus custodian will take and spray down any outside equipment that has been used for the morning cohort. So that would be any play equipment that might have been used, all the outdoor tables that we just shared with you. We may not have all the playground equipment up and functional. That will depend on what our ability is with the cleaning schedule, but if it has been used, it will be disinfected at that time. Then when the bell rings and those first group of students leave, we will come in with kind of like what I call a strike team, and the custodians will be divided into a group that's going to clean, disinfect the restrooms and health offices, and then special custodians from other sites are going to land on that site at the break, and they're going to spray down and disinfect every single classroom that has been used before the next cohort comes. During that same period of time, again, we've got the campus supervisors there hitting the high touch areas with the wipe downs and basically adding to what the custodians are able to do with the spray disinfectors. Then again, at the end of the day, we repeat the entire process again with a really thorough deep cleaning, mopping the floors, vacuuming, emptying all the trash cans, et cetera, et cetera.
Just to emphasize that, Ms. Kimmel, when we come back to campuses, we're going to have an AM and PM cohort. And that's, again, to reduce the number of students at any given time in a classroom. And so there's about a 90-minute or so break there. And that's that midday student break where the custodians will be, with that strike team that Ms. Kimmel mentioned, getting into every classroom before the next or PM or afternoon set of students come in.
Thank you so much for that. That's absolutely correct. Yes. So we're going to use every minute wisely and make sure that it's safe for the next group of kids. I've got some examples of pictures on the next couple of slides of what these spray machines look like. There's one group of machines called the electrostatic cleaners, and there are a couple on every site. And like I said, there will be additional staff and additional equipment brought in at the midday break. So you can see some folks using that there. Those machines are really amazing, whereas they're a gentle mist, it looks like, but those misting machines, they get into all the nooks and crannies, and you do not have any area that is left without being disinfected when they're done. The other picture shows a Sani sprayer, and these machines are great. On the next slide, that shows the 100-foot hoses that are available. So these can really get to the outdoor spaces. This could be used in things like, large rooms. It could be used in for the outdoor play equipment or the outdoor lunch tables, things of that nature. So those are, again, new machines that we have available on every campus. We've also been working hard on improving our health and safety through our air quality. And we've got a couple of notes on our next slide, which talks about how we have done an amazing job getting these systems up and ready for kids to be back on campus. Our HVAC systems, if everybody's not aware, we have very specialty custom filters that are, you can't even like swap one for another in the same school site. Every building has a custom made filter made for their HVAC system with a very tight metal seal, and they're very high MERV ratings. So we have replaced all of those filters, and we have cleaned out all the ducting, all the coils to be ready for clean air for the students to join us. We will be running all of our systems for 2 hours before school starts every day. So that will give the system time to circulate all of that air through and make it ready for people to be in the classroom. And then county guidelines, state guidelines, again, outdoor air is highly recommended. So with weather and air quality permitting, we will have all of our classroom doors open where feasible. We do have an ultraviolet HVAC system upgrade in progress, and we should be starting implementation of these in the next few weeks. And this will be an added layer of support up in the rafters with the UV system that will destroy all viruses and bacteria throughout the entire HVAC process as it goes through the filter. And I think those are our safety slides.
Thank you very much, Dr. Finneran and Ms. Kimmel. We are, as you can see, hard at work, and we are not wasting a second, and we will continue to be hard at work in preparing schools until we can welcome more and more kids on campus. Obviously, there's a lot of stress and anxiety and adversity out there, and please know we have support for you. Mr. Gleason, what do we have?
Yeah, I just want to continue to remind the community of resources we have available via community360.me. If you find your children are struggling, or if you find yourself in need of some support, you can go to that link on this slide, community360.me/counseling, and set up a confidential appointment with any of our counselors. Of course, you can also reach out for your students. You can reach out to your site counselors for that support as well. But on the website, you can set up a time that is convenient for you. Also, we have tutoring available for our kindergarten through 8th grade students provided by amazing high school volunteers. We have over, I think, 2,000 sessions booked now for that. And big hats off to our high school students who are giving so much time to the community. Just remember, they are volunteers, and they are also navigating pandemics, the pandemic, and also, learning through this time. So just know they're being very, very generous with their time to help serve our community. And in another way they're serving our community is by offering afternoon classes for students to have connection. All those resources, in addition to digital parenting books and our upcoming virtual events, can all be accessed via community360.me. We all need each other, we all need connection, and we all need support right now. And you'll find a lot of resources there that we hope you can take advantage of.
And just to emphasize that point, we do have space for tutoring and those classes, and they are phenomenal opportunities run by our high schoolers. The high schoolers are vetted and supervised. But again, as Mr. Gleason said, they are volunteers and being very generous with their time. So I just want to emphasize that point there. Thanks, Mr. Gleason. Team, anything I missed anywhere? Looking good. Special thanks to our Board of Education. If you've seen the Acorn today, they are always out there and advocating, meeting with LA County Supervisor Sheila Kuehl, meeting with other local elected officials, advocating for our schools, advocating for our students, advocating for our staff and our community. So appreciate all of their time, energy, and advocacy, and making sure we have the resources we need to be safe and the chances and opportunities and all the considerations possible. So thanks to our Board of Education for all those efforts. Again, thanks to our staff, our teachers, our classified staff. These are challenging times, and we are so excited to have almost 200 of our students back on Monday. Our staff supporting them on campus. Monday is going to be a very exciting day, and we hopefully will be bringing back more and more safely and with county approval. So thank you for everything out there. We appreciate you. Again, those acts of kindness flu shots, those masks, all those good things. We so appreciate you and hope to see you real soon.